Hi, everybody. Well, today we're not baking at all and cooking. I'm going to tell you the history of when I actually learned how to bake and how to cook. I was 8 years old. My grandma Elizabeth taught me the traits of culinary, how to bake and how to cook. She was absolutely an amazing baker. Some of her food was absolutely spectacular. She baked, oh my goodness, cream cheese cookies, butter cookies, cocoa roast, strudel, and she taught me all how to do this. I remember one time on a weekend when I was 8 years old, she literally had me help her roll out strudel dough. And it was absolutely something that was absolutely wonderful. Her pie crusts were fantastic. Also, they were made from pure, all natural ingredients: butter, flour. Water has to be ice cold when you make your pie crust. Cookie dough is the opposite. It's room temperature. And I learned all this from Grandma Elizabeth how to bake. My mom, on the other hand, was a fantastic cook also. Her specialty was meatloaf, pork chops, pot roast, roasted chicken, baked chicken. I learned a lot of stuff from my mom as well. My grandma Bessie was an fantastic Italian cook. She made fantastic spaghetti and meatballs. And the funny part of it, she was born Russian, but her mother-in-law actually taught her how to make Italian food. And we went over there every Sunday. And also, Grandma Bessie made icebox cake. It's chocolate pudding cake. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. How I was 8 years old when I actually learned how to bake and when I actually learned how to cook because I had such a very strong passion for it. And Grandma Elizabeth would be very proud of me even today, knowing how much I love this passion of baking and cooking. I went to culinary school one semester, booked there, but that's not really what helped me. Yeah, I had a boss named Mr. John. He did help me in some fields, yes, but mainly I learned it at a very young age, and I've been doing it ever since. And I'm in my 60s now, and I have to have this passion. And Grandma's Elizabeth's mom, what I was told was a better baker than my grandmother. I can't figure how that's even possible, but I believe anything is possible. I think the family should have opened up a bakery, and we would have made a fortune on the bakery. I'm not kidding you. Aunt Belle was very Victorian also, but she made these very fancy dishes like cherry soup. I remember making that. Very, very fancy exotic dishes. That's what Aunt Belle used to make. Aunt Helen was similar to Grandma Elizabeth. She baked a lot also. Made a lot of cupcakes. She was into that kind of field. I think she made candy one time. I mean, all these women, all they made was always homemade stuff, and it was really very good. Now, let's see. I'm trying to remember. On my grandfather's side, his mom was a very good baker too. Grandma Julia was his mom's name. Grandma Caroline. I'm trying to remember. Well, one of them was I believe Grandma Caroline was great grandpa's mom, and Grandma Julia, great grandmother Julia, was my grandmother's mom, and they were fantastic bakers. There was no doubt about it. And I'm not cooking today, but I'm telling you all the fantastic things that went along with the baking and cooking. How I learned at 8 years old when I actually started learning how to bake and how to learn how to cook, and I absolutely have a passion for it. I mean, it's something I love truly doing. I actually learned stuff from my mother-in-law after I got married. She taught me how to make it's an apple stuffing, for example, for Christmas and for Thanksgiving. It's fantastic. You grate up apples, you cut up vegetables. She used to put in all kinds of wonderful seasonings. And she also taught her sister Aunt Doris taught me how to bake chocolate chip and peanut butter chip cookies. I mean, they did it in such a way. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Those women were bakers also that you wouldn't believe. My second mother-in-law, my husband's mom, she learned how to make. I learned how to make like potato pancakes from her, hot dogs with tomato sauce on it. I know it sounds silly, but she really was a very good cook. Also, she was Polish. So I can sort of have it from. I like to bake from all over the world. I try to do international dishes. Just a few days ago, I did a Mexican dish. I also remember doing a Hungarian dish. I did a Russian dish a while back. Spanish dishes, French dishes. I'm sort of one of these cooks. I like to go international. Do be fair to everybody. Because everybody has their own specialty. And it's something. It's just a thrill for me to actually have this cooking show and baking show because it's something that I really love to do. I'm not really Victorian. I wish I was Victorian like my grandmother was, but what are you going to do? I mean, and she also did everything. She sewed. She did everything. Grandma Elizabeth sewed it. Grandma Bessie. I mean, it was just the way it was. They didn't have a bread machine in those days. Well, my great grandmother Bubba baked bread. Oh, you have never walked. You haven't lived. You walked into a kitchen smelling that bread. It's wonderful. And also, we would go over there every Sunday night, and we would always have spaghetti and meatballs, and for dessert, icebox cake, chocolate pudding cake. It's graham crackers, vanilla pudding, another layer of graham crackers, and chocolate pudding. She used mighty fine pudding, but in those days it was all natural ingredients. But it was just a fantastic, fantastic thing. And I know Grandma Elizabeth would be so proud of me. So would Grandma Bessie, and that I actually have this cooking show because they know how much I love to cook and bake. And I know my kids absolutely love to, watch me bake also. I mean, when they were very little, I would bake. They used to lick the batter out of the out of the, it's the bowl. But nowadays you don't do that anymore, obviously, because it's not healthy. Also, Grandma Elizabeth also made cream puffs, eclairs, and also her mom did that too. That was another specialty she made. So there's no cooking today. I just wanted to give you my life history of when I learned how to cook and bake. I was 8 years old, very, very young. And I still love doing it even today. I'm coming up with new ideas, new recipes. Deborah Wade's Home Country Kitchen. Have a great day. Please subscribe to my wonderful YouTube channel.